Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. Right now I'm living near Panama City, Florida for a little bit longer. This deals with football and if an idea that I come up with that if the uh, NFL and the NAACP would adopt my idea, this would change the way some games are, the outcome of some games, because some games are lost and they're lost on, the team that loses should not have lost or should have had a better chance. And right now, the NFL and the NAACP is still just a little bit behind the times. They're not up to date with what they could be doing to make these games more fair and give, a team that's way down or just down a little bit in the closing moments of a ball game a chance to win it. Of course, the first thing I'd say is I hate the way the NFL has what the NFL has done to the game. They've made them shorter, and teams only have so many chances to win the game. If they don't win it, they're screwed. Uh, I remember back in the 70s and even into the 80s where, a game could go on almost for 4 hours. It'd be 5 minutes to go and one team could be 3 touchdowns down and all of a sudden come back and win it. These days you can't really do that anymore. It's just, a straight down game. The reason why they cut the time in the NFL is because the networks had complained about the length of these games. That's why they're shorter now than they used to be. I can remember one time with about 5 minutes to go, the Oakland Raiders, this was back in I think the late 70s, was behind the Pittsburgh Steelers by about 2 or 3 touchdowns with about 5 minutes to go. Next thing I know, I turned it off. Next day, looked at the score, and Oakland had come back to win the game because they were really good about going out of bounds, and they really knew how to use that clock at the last few minutes. You can't hardly do that anymore these days. And that's why the NFL football games today are not as exciting as they once were, because it's the time. And again, the networks are behind this. They're the ones who ask the NFL to cut the time so they can go from one game to the next. Because it used to be one game would go over, and the second game of the doubleheader has already started, and that's what they were complaining about. Well, maybe they just needed to change the times a little bit for these games, and where you go from one game to the next, even if the other game goes over, you wouldn't miss much of the first one, or sometimes not even at all. But anyhow, here's what my idea is about how to make to change things in the NFL and the NAACP college football teams, of course, uh, so that some teams could have a chance to win, and it would be just a little bit more fair. It's relatively a simple idea, and I don't know why no one's thought of it before, or no one has pitched this idea yet. But the coaches need the opportunity. Each NFL coach, college coach in football needs to have a buzzer, something in their hand or on their belt, where they can call timeout just by hitting that buzzer. All of a sudden, it comes up on the clock, on the scoreboard, boom, timeout, and gives the time when the timeout is called. That way, these coaches don't have to sit and wait on trying to run down some referee or some coach trying to scream at his quarterback, or call timeout, call timeout. The coach can do it himself. You get the 3 timeouts. And of course, they can also hit the buzzer for if they want to challenge a play. And if they hit that buzzer and it's not legal, like they were out of timeouts, then they'd be penalized. Maybe the team would be penalized maybe 15 yards. It's up to the coach to know these things. Maybe the assistant coach might take care of some of it. But nonetheless, that's the best way to do it. This way, you don't have to keep running down or waiting for a referee to see the coach or the quarterback calling timeout, because some games are lost because they're not able to call timeout. I don't know why it's so difficult. This idea is not that difficult. It's relatively simple, and I've had it for several years, and I don't understand why it's so difficult to do that. But they need to make it where these coaches can call the timeout themselves, and that would eliminate them having to wait on the referee, trying to run him down, scream at him, yell at him, run out on the field. Hey, I'm trying to call timeout here. That also eliminates the need for the coach to have to signal to the quarterback to call timeout. The coach can do it himself, and that would be the best way to change the outcome of some games and give an opposing team more of a chance to win, or sometimes to help the winning team win. But these timeouts, they're just a little bit behind the times, and they need to advance some. And this is it's an advancement that would, again, that I think would make a little bit more fair. That's all I can say. Anyway, that's just my idea. It's a simple one. If you like the idea, pitch it to the NAACP through the internet or NFL and put it in the letter to the editor and send it to sports, magazines, and maybe somebody will like the idea, take it higher up, and maybe it will become a reality very soon. It's a simple idea. That's all it is, and it would be a great help to all football teams in America. Thank you for your time. If you want to find anything about me, go to MySpace or Facebook. I have an account there. I'm also on Twitter. My name's Dale Wilhite.